This is the Talk2Jack Podcast with UnkuJack, exploring topics on heart, mind, soul, and the human experience. Let's talk. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode in the Talk2Jack Podcast. I'm your host, UnkuJack, here with another episode. So, I want to talk to you today about steps to developing something that is sustainable, specifically within your business or in your personal life. What are the things that you can do that will help you develop things, build something that has staying power? That will stand the test of time. There are a few tips and tools. I'm sure that there are many, but today I'd like to focus on the 4 C's. The 4 C's of developing something or building something, whether a business or a relationship, in a more sustainable way. One of the things that we struggle with in life is not always starting. Every year, millions of people cross over into a new year, and they have New Year's resolutions, goals that they want to achieve in the course of the year. This year, I'm going to do this. This year, I'm going to do that. This year, I'm going to be this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to work out. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be more fit. I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to eat healthier. I am going to start a business. I'm going to start that program. I'm going to enroll for this course. I'm going to travel more. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And just as quickly as those decisions are made, a lot of times we drop them off by the wayside and we go on to not do them. And that can be a bit of a problem. For our morale, it can be a bit of a problem for how we view ourselves and how we feel as far as a sense of achievement goes. And so I thought that I would pick out what I consider to be 4 critical things that we all need to consider, that we all need to apply to our lives if we want to start something, if we want to do something, if we want to build something, whether it be a business, whether it be our departments at work, whether it be our families, whether it be our relationships. They are principles that cut across the board. And there are things that you can do. You can start doing them right now. You can start doing them today. There are practical things that you can do to set up a foundation that will ensure that whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you start to do, will have staying power. So the first thing I want to talk about, the first of the 4 C's is consistency. Yeah, you see what I did there? Consistency. What is consistency? Consistency is the act of doing something sustainably. It's the act of doing something repeatedly in the same way all the time, to put it simply. And that is one of the things that I think is very critical. When I started, after years and years, probably a couple of decades of procrastinating heavily on starting this video blog series or starting my podcast or starting the Talk2Jack series. This idea has been a long time in the birthing chamber. It's something that I've always known I should do, and it's something that I had procrastinated on for so many years, giving all sorts of excuses why I couldn't do it. And one day I just started. If you scroll back in my timeline on my Instagram page, you'll probably find the first video definitely looks nothing like this video looks now. Quality definitely wasn't anything like this either. And that was because I simply made a decision to start. I just put up my phone and stood in front of it with a message, and I delivered the message. It was ugly, it was dirty, it was not coordinated, but I started. And I made up my mind in that moment that the moment I started, I would be consistent. It didn't matter how busy my week got. It didn't matter how much I had to do. It didn't matter what. I made a commitment to myself saying that I needed to put out this video every week for a year. And I did put out the video every week for a year consistently. There are some days I would record 2 or 3 videos a day so that I would make sure that I could meet my obligations for the next 2-3 weeks because I knew I had other things going on. But I did whatever I had to do to make sure that those videos came out consistently. It didn't matter whether people were following. I didn't look. I didn't check. I wasn't checking stats. I wasn't checking anything. I was focused internally. This was not just about you. It was about me. It was about making sure that I built a rhythm, that I had a flow around the videos. And so I made sure that I developed that. I did it consistently until it became a habit. And it has become a habit. It's part of my life now. It's part of my workflow. It's part of my life flow. And so consistency is about building the muscles that you need to allow something to become regular for you, to allow something to become a habit for you. Whether you're working out, whether you're trying to eat healthy, whatever, you want to do something and repeat it as many times as you can until it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, it no longer feels like work. It feels like just a part of you. And that is one of the key steps to building something that will be sustainable, is developing consistency. The only way that you can develop consistency is if you have conviction. That is the second C, conviction. Conviction is when you believe in something beyond measure, when you are totally sold out to something, when you believe in it, when you have faith in it, when you know that it is what you need to do. Conviction is the only way you will be consistent. If you don't believe in it, you will not be consistent in it. If you're just doing it because it's a fad, you will not be consistent in it. If you're just doing it because it's a phase, you will not be consistent in it. If you're just doing it because other people are doing it, you will not be consistent in it. It has to be born out of a place of deep belief and conviction. One of the things that has driven me for years is that I've always known inside of myself that I have a desire to help people, to reach out and touch people, to improve people's mental health, to improve their confidence, their state of mind, to help them do things and develop themselves in ways that would be consistent and sustainable in the long term. I didn't want to be just another person out here spitting out motivational quotes left, right, and center. I wanted to have, and I want to have, real impact. I want people to listen to the things that we talk about and relate to them on a real level, and have the message guide them and develop them and help them to grow into their own person, standing on their own and building on that, and then paying it forward to other people. I believe that genuinely, and I believe in that genuinely, and that has allowed me now to be consistent. Without conviction, consistency will not exist. It will be fleeting. The third thing is creativity. If you are bored, you will not believe in it. If you're bored, you will not be consistent in it. If you're bored, you will not be able to sell it. You can't sell it to other people, so you can't get support for it if you can't sell it to other people. Your idea, your dream, your passion, whatever it is your goal is, you can't even sell it to yourself. We thrive on the exciting as humans. We thrive on things that make us feel good, that make us think, that make us excited, that make us laugh, that make us feel seen, that make us believe. And so the only way that you can buy into your own notion or sell your own notion to other people is by being creative, thinking outside of the box, coming up with new ways to try new things, to do new things. Instead of working out in the mornings, if you're not a morning person, maybe take a break in the middle of your day and go for a run in the middle of your work day, and then come back, and then you've broken the cycle. Who says it has to be in the morning or in the evening? Who says you can't have a walking treadmill at your desk? Who says that you can't take every 10 minutes at work to just do a few jumping jacks? There are different ways, if you have fitness goals, that you can try to achieve them if you care about fitness goals. Even with food, there's so many different. I love food. Oh God, I love food. I love food. And I love good food. And I love variety of food. And so if you want to eat healthy, who says that you have to follow one particular diet? Who says that it has to be one particular way? Who says it has to be boring? Why don't you get creative about it? Why don't you mix and match? Why don't you check out things from other parts of the world that you're not used to and try that out, and then keep it fresh, keep it exciting, keep it creative. And if it's creative, you're more likely to stay consistent with it because it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. You will be consistent with it. You will have conviction about it. Your conviction will drive that consistency and also drive that thirst, that lust for creativity. And the fourth C that I want to talk about is communication. I talk about this all the time because communication is key. In this case, let's talk about how you communicate with yourself. This year, I made a commitment to myself to be happy, undeniably unrepressed happiness, undependent on others, independent of what is happening around me as much as possible, just finding pure, unadulterated joy. And that was my goal for the year. And to achieve that, one of the things that I chose to do was to visualize it, to communicate it to myself visually. And to do that, what did I do? I got this dry erase board and I put it up on my dresser and I wrote on it, I promise to be happy. And every morning I wake up and I see it right there. And as soon as I see it, it reminds me of my commitment to myself. It's myself, my idea, my thought, communicating back to me every day. I promise to be happy. And as soon as I see that, I whisper it out loud to myself. I say it out loud to myself. And then I go in front of the mirror in the bathroom and I say it to myself, looking at myself in the mirror. I promise to be happy. I communicate that ideal with myself and I repeat it over and over every day in and day out, as many times as I can. And I've been doing that all year so far, and it has stuck. It is now part of my routine every day, reminding myself to choose the path of happiness, to make decisions every day in my life that align with my path towards happiness. I even took it a step further. I made t-shirts. I promise to be happy. Yes, I have t-shirts made. I promise to be happy. It's a way to remind myself, to communicate it to myself. And by making t-shirts, I have creatively made a way to allow other people communicate that back to me as well, to reinforce that notion to me. Because when people see it, they say it out loud to me. I promise to be happy, reading my shirt. And I'm like, yep, I promise to be happy. I'm reminding myself. And so I'm communicating my ideal to myself. But as far as your business goes, as far as your business idea, it's the same thing. You build staying power by communicating positively to yourself about your goals, about your ideals, about how you want to achieve them. You make it clear, you make it measurable, you make it plain and understandable so that there is no ambiguity. And that way you have buy-in, not only from yourself, from your innermost person, but also from the people around you who can help you, who can help support you towards achieving that goal. And so the next time you want to have that big double-decker sloppy Joe infused cheeseburger with extra melted cheddar and mozzarella and Swiss cheese on it with French fries and chili, your friend who knows that you're on a fitness journey, who's at dinner with you, can say, hey guy, hey girl, that's not in line with your goal. You know, you've got this goal. You want to be fit. That's not a good idea right now. I'm not saying you can't have a cheat day, but that burger is a little bit too much. Maybe you want to tone it down. And they can only help you do that if you've communicated to them what your goals are, what your ideals are, and why, what your conviction is and why. And having it so plain and so clear helps them buy into it just as much as you have and as much as you did. And it helps them support you in achieving those goals. And now I said I know that there were 4 C's. And if you have 4 C's, there's an S at the end. And the S stands for solution. There's no way that you're going to do anything meaningful. There's no way you're going to build anything meaningful. There's no way you're going to be consistent, creative, committed, or communicating anything meaningful if it's not geared towards something at the end, if there's no end game, if you're not trying to solve a problem, if there's no landing zone. If I just want to be a fitter person, what does that mean? But if I want to lose 20 pounds or 40 kg, then that is a goal. That is a solution that I'm working towards with my fitness goals. If I want to build a business that provides cheap labor within a particular area. That is a goal. Everything around my business idea, the consistency, the creativity, the conviction, the communication is going to be centered around the achievement of that goal. If you want to build something sustainable, you have to have a measurable goal. It has to be with the solution in mind. And even though the 4 C's have the S at the end, in reality, the solution should be first, because that is the platform on which everything else is built on. Anything you want to achieve sustainably, anything you want to build, and anything you want to grow starts with the end in mind. This is what I want to achieve. And then everything else are the steps that I'm going to take to achieve them. So that's my thought for today. I hope you found it interesting. I hope that you will apply these principles into your life. They are practical. They are measurable. It's not hogwash. Trust me. Just give it a try. And if you are doing those things, if you agree with me, and if you haven't and you want to try them, if you want a little bit more guidance on them, send us a DM. Send us an email to jack@jackandi. That's JACKANDI.com. You can also send us a DM to UnkuJack on our social media platforms, UnkuJack. You can listen to our podcast going forward. You can check out our website at jackandi.com as well to see how you can register for coaching courses or coaching classes with me. And hopefully you will apply these principles. And I know I have a conviction that if you apply these things to your life, you will get the results that you want, just like I am. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe, be good, and as always, be inspired. This has been the Talk2Jack Podcast with UnkuJack. Tune in next time for another episode.